Hi there, welcome to Terrorland Soap Opera. I'm going to do a reading for Capricorn energy, by the way. We're going to do two rows. We are going to do a top row and a bottom row. The top row could be the decisions that people are making in their life because they have hope and faith and belief in themselves and they've freed themselves from their more fearful, insecure, prideful nature. And the bottom row is going to be people who haven't done that yet and might be still making decisions out of fear, insecurity. Our worldly nature, can just is like our shadow nature where we make our life more about maybe money and materialism and status and image. So kind of referred to as our more immature, indulgent nature. Haven't learned to discipline ourselves yet. So I'm back home in my hometown, a nice small town. The internet is super fast here, so we're going to get some tarot readings out while we're here. And we're going to, like I say, the top row is going to be what people could be doing. The people who are harnessing high vibe Capricorn energy right now. And the bottom row is going to be for people who aren't harnessing high vibe Capricorn energy right now. Can be, we've all been in shadowy energy. We've all got lessons to learn, and we're all at different levels of being an illusion. Have we all shed all of our pride, our ego, our fear, our insecurity, our competitive nature? Are we spiritual gurus in the world? No. But we might have shed some layers of, not being in jealousy and envy and revenge and trying to empower ourselves by trying to hurt other people to feel powerful. We're all at different levels of learning lessons in life. So this will be a contrast between where different people are at. Okay, let's take a look at the top row. We have concern and the mature man. Keep in mind, I think the best way so you can kind of see where different people fit in the story is to look at the masculine in tarot. I look at as how people could be presenting themselves to the world and the action they could be taking in the world, because we all take action in masculine energy. And sometimes it can represent us being in our more worldly nature or ego nature. And the feminines in tarot can talk about our emotional state. So we have some people are concerned about accepting the gift to go down a pathway of aligning with their more emotionally intuitive, creative nature, because, we're really kind of like animals. It's just that we have free will and we were given a gift of being able to use our mind and our intellect and our creativity and we were also given the gift of intuition. It's kind of like, just like bats have sonar and butterflies know to fly south in the winter to not die. We have intuition, which was given to us to try to help guide our way, because the divine and life force energy, whatever you want to call it, would like us to grow to our full potential. And just like we have our eyes and our hearing and our taste buds and everything to use to help guide us, we also have our intuition. And all of those were a gift given to us if we are willing to get out of our more worldly, egoic nature and go down a path of aligning with our more emotionally intuitive nature and working together with it. In community card was the reason for the reading coming out up here. We have this dualistic nature. We live in a dualistic world of opposites and polarity. And we have that dualistic nature within us. We kind of got the devil whispering on our shoulder, which is kind of our worldly nature. And then we have like the angel whispering on our shoulder, which is our more higher self nature. And if we work together in our worldly nature with our more emotionally intuitive higher nature, we can work together cooperatively to go down a pathway of transformation. Otherwise, we keep staying in our more worldly focused, pride and ego, maybe competitive nature. We have free will. High vibe people are doing that. Some of you could have already done that, and you're trying to encourage some other people in your life to accept love, making their life more about love than the world or their ego or materialism or indulgence, immaturity, all the things that our worldly nature can be about. And not everybody is atrocious, but an idea of our worldly nature, we can read the paper and see how atrocious people can act in an animalistic way. I want, I deserve, and they're doing all these atrocious things to other people in the world because they think, they lack compassion. They lack love for other human beings, So let's talk about the shadowy energy. Shadowy Capricorn energy. Capricorn is earth sign energy, and it is about a drive within us to want to put work and effort to build a legacy in our life. The difference is, are we going to put work and effort into building a legacy in life because we've transformed ourselves from our more base nature of pride and ego and fear and insecurity and immaturity and indulgence? Have we tempered our more beastly nature? Have we, that's kind of what the Leo card can be in tarot, in high vibe. Have we tempered our more beastly nature to connect in with our more divine nature, to aspire to a higher truth, a higher sense of purpose and justice and truth in life, then life's just all about me and what I want? And if we don't temper our more fearful or self-centered or animalistic nature, we could be in shadowy Capricorn energy, which is also represented in the tarot by the Devil card, which can represent the world, and being more aligned with our egoic, selfish, greedy, indulgent nature. Some people who are aligned with that nature within themselves right now are giving a lot of thought to how to get some money with the sudden wealth, or how to be indulged, basically, because wealth, we may think of it as money, and maybe it might be money, but even people who are in shadow nature want people to indulge them emotionally. And that would be a form of wealth and abundance that some people have. The people that are high vibe are very loving and committed and loyal and dedicated. Shadowy people like to be in a relationship like that with people like that too. And then they can indulge in a relationship with them and manipulate them and try to control them, And they're giving it a lot of thought. They're kind of battling it out within themselves in the courtroom. Because they could be getting a message of concern that things aren't maybe going in their favor with the ill health. Oh, and then we have the coffin card there. It's a reason for the reading. Huh. Well, some people could be in a relationship or a marriage right now, and they could be thinking that if they end that relationship and take it, some people could come into sudden wealth. Or thinking of getting in a relationship because of money and materialism, and then ending it. And because if they end it and they go to court and get a divorce, that's how they could get the money. Otherwise, if they kind of don't win the court case, oh, I know, this is funny. Okay, it always kind of comes down to our own dualistic nature within ourselves and what we align within ourselves. Our loving, hopeful, believing nature and the divine and energy of love wants us to and the other loving, supportive people in our life want us to accept the gift of transformation. You know, we have to die to our egoic nature in order to be free, to give birth to something new, to have true abundance in our life. Being enslaved by our pride, our ego, our fear, our insecurity is no way to live our life. You know, we're trapped by those things. And the energy of love wants us to be free of that. The energy of death, non-life-giving energy, like devil energy, you could refer to it as, wants us to not align with our more loving nature, because then our more shadowy nature of pride and ego and immaturity and indulgence can't live life through us. What energy are we going to let be the energy that leads our life and our decision making? We can't get rid of the other one and reject it and act like it doesn't exist. We all have some pride and ego and fear and insecurity, but is our loving nature going to be the more dominant energy in our life, and our fearful nature like whispers in our ear, I don't think you should do that. I think we should go be with that person over there. I think we should go indulge in that. You know, I think we should be defensive. I think we should be upset about that. You know, which one is going to be the front of our life, and which one is going to be the one whispering in our ear? If we listen to our more shadowy nature, there is no life-giving energy there. Nothing loving will come from it. It will all be a facade, an illusion, a deception. We'll be lying to ourselves if we believe the illusion, like the devil whispering on our shoulder, come over and do this, it'll be great. Everything will work out fine. You don't have to put in work and effort. You don't have to transform yourself. Keep indulging in your shadow nature. Everything will work out just fine. And that's what other people in our life try to tempt us to get in relationship with them, and they're really not offering us love. They want to be in a relationship with us because they want to indulge in a relationship with us. They aren't being open and honest and loving. They want you to be in fear and insecurity. They want you to stay not believing in yourself, giving up on your dreams and making your life all about them, or ego or image or money and materialism, because those are the things that they value. So just like we have our dualistic nature, we have free will to decide which aspect of our dualistic nature is going to have control of our life. Our ego and our fear, or our loving intuitive nature. And whichever one we align with is going to dictate, what people we're going to surround ourselves with. We probably have loving, encouraging people in our life that are encouraging us to shed our fears and insecurities, to love and believe in ourselves so that we can work together with others in community. Our shadow nature and other people who, the coffin card here reminds me of the Scorpio death card in tarot. And shadowy Scorpio energy, they don't have to be a Scorpio. We can all harness these energies. There's only 12 zodiac signs, and we have the capability to tap into all of these in positive energy or shadowy energy. There's some people in life who are emotionally defensive to being vulnerable and loving because they could get hurt doing that. So they decide to live a more emotionally shallow life and make their life just about death, sex, and taxes. It's kind of like, who am I going to be in a relationship with? Do you have money? Are you good for my image? Okay, I'll have sex with you and be in a relationship with you. There could be people who are trying to tempt other people by offering them the things of the world, like the devil would do, right? And there's other people who are offering people love, like the divine would do. Which one are we going to align with within ourselves? And that will dictate which people we align with in our life. Some people are being tempted to being in non-life-giving energy and making their life about money and materialism, pride and ego, and aligning with people in their life who make their life about those things. But they could have some concerns that they will be judged for their actions and that people might view them as being unhealthy, unloving, unkind. And generally, people present themselves and want to present an image to the world that, oh no, I don't operate from pride and ego. Oh no, I'm not selfish and greedy. Oh no, I'm just and fair. I'm loyal and committed. Are they? Are they really? Or do they just present the illusion of being that? And they could be giving some thought that if they make their life about those things, will they be judged as someone? You could look at illness as disease, like, you know, when we let our pride and ego and fear and insecurity run our life, it's kind of like we've been caught up in something that's unhealthy for us, and it will and can affect our health because we're presenting ourselves, we're like living a dualistic life. Oh, we present ourselves as being loving and giving, like we're willing to move forward with people and be just and fair and loving, but we're not. We really are being selfish and greedy and manipulative and self-centered and indulging in relationships with people, creating the illusion we're all those things when internally we're not. And I think when we're not living our life authentically, it wears on us mentally and spiritually. Other people might be afraid that if they get in a relationship and live their life based on money and materialism, that it will be an unhealthy relationship, and the people that might have the money, who are emotionally shallow, who are maybe shadowy Scorpio, can be people who are intimidating and controlling because they don't trust and believe in love. They don't trust and believe others. They know they don't trust and believe in love. And so then, you know, they tend to think other people are like themselves, and they don't trust and believe other people, and they can be like a private detective in a relationship. You know, that's an unhealthy relationship. They might get the money, but it's going to be an unhealthy relationship. If they want to be with the loving people, they're going to have to shed their old ways of being. They're going to have to put a death to their more egoic, self-protective nature, and they're going to have some hope and faith and belief in other people and in love. I really hope that nobody would give thought to getting into something that's abundant and then deciding well, you can let your own mind go there. Let's get some cards out to clarify. Okay, tell us about the people back here that, you know, and people could be battling within themselves. Like I say, part of their worldly nature is concerned about maturing themselves, maturing their worldly view of life so that they could be willing to transform, maybe from being more of a shadowy, privileged lady energy would be someone who emotionally, people who wanted to be indulged in relationships, kind of like thinking they're entitled to people indulging them and making it all about them, they would have to transform emotionally in order to work together. Because, you know, why aren't we already being loving and just and fair in relationships? Why aren't we treating other people the way we like to be treated? Well, some people think they deserve to be in a more privileged position, and they would emotionally have to transform emotionally in order to work together authentically and honestly with other people who truly are emotionally like loving and giving, you know? Because the loving and giving people probably have learned lessons in life from other people who've been like this, and they're not willing to enable those people anymore. They're not willing to indulge those people with their type of abundance that they have, unless these people put an end to their more shadowy ways of being. Tell us about the concern and the mature card here. Ooh, that's way too many. I don't want to do 8. How about 1 or 2? Tell us about the concern and the mature energy here. Queen of Cups. Defensiveness. Some people who operate more from their worldly egoic nature are defensive to aligning with their more emotionally intuitive nature. They could love their more prideful, egotistical nature. Tell us about the gift and the pathway. Why would people do that? I think everybody, when they were young, when they were small children, everybody had hope and faith and belief in their dreams. If you were, it's about love and wanting to have a family and all these things, And then as people get older, because they've been hurt in life, they got kicked up into their pride and ego and defensiveness and decided, I'm not doing love anymore. I'm going to make my life more about, indulging myself. I'm not going to let my more emotionally vulnerable nature out to play in the world anymore. That got locked in a box in my brain, And I'm going to make my life more about ego and image and status and materialism. Okay, the gift and the pathway is about the Page of Pentacles and the World. The World talks about learning lessons in life so you can close out a chapter in your life and move forward. And we have to be in that more hopeful, believing nature, like our more inner child nature of hope and faith and belief in what can be, instead of letting our more egoic, fearful nature run our life. And we have to have some hope and faith and belief in others, in ourselves. And we have to be willing to grow and mature ourselves and learn lessons in life and realize we didn't know everything we thought we knew, that there were still lessons to be learned, layers of our fear and insecurity or our ego that we need to shed. If there's certain people in our life, either if we want to give birth to something new or we want to be in relationship with people who we view as being loving and just and fair and balanced. If we want to work together with those people, we've got to be willing to let our more emotionally vulnerable nature come out to play, and we need to invest in closing out old ways of being, and we need to grow and mature ourselves and learn some lessons in life. Tell us about the emotionally enlightened people over here. And again, the feminines in tarot represent our emotional state, so male or female. The Devil. Because of the Page of Pentacles. Some people are emotionally very abundant over here in high vibe Capricorn energy because they learned lessons from their past life experiences that caused them a lot of inner conflict. There could have been a lot of things. They dealt with their own fears and insecurities. They invested time, energy, and effort into learning about their own more immature, indulgent, selfish, greedy, prideful, lack of self-confidence, whatever. They have faced their fears. Why? Because they were willing to have that hopeful, believing nature, and they invested in loving their own fearful, insecure nature so that they can work together with their worldly nature in a more loving, balanced, hopeful, believing nature instead of letting their more fearful, egoic nature run their life. Okay, tell us about the people down here with thoughts of sudden wealth in shadowy Capricorn energy. And people over here, they could have been people in the past who they were defensive to love, or they were prideful and egotistical, or they were materialistically and money motivated, and they learned the lesson that that keeps me from having the peace within myself, being in a place of joy within myself. It maybe previously made them reject loving people in their life. Maybe they had dealt with addictions before. Maybe they dealt with insecurity, and they did the work to free themselves with it. They accepted the gift of transforming themselves and doing the work within themselves to free themselves from their more worldly nature. And they want to encourage other people to do that too, because we all deserve to be free from our more base nature and our more immature, indulgent, defensive nature. We're meant to be free. We're not meant to be imprisoned and enslaved by our fear and our ego. So tell us about the thoughts and sudden wealth. I think one flipped. Okay, the Tower. Some people who didn't move forward with some other people and align with their own loving, hopeful, believing nature, those foundations could have ended with the Death card here. Some people who held back from transformation, a cycle ended on them, and it could have been light was shed on the truth of the shadowy people's foundation, that they were more about being defensive to love or wanting to be indulged in a relationship, like they're prideful or indulgent and people should just love them like a mother should love them. It's like, but you're not my child. I'm not going to indulge you being selfish and greedy and prideful and egotistical. I'm sorry if your parents did that, but you're not a child anymore. And if you want to work together with people in mature adult relationships, you need to quit defending either your mother who indulges you or a Scorpio in your life who keeps indulging you or thinking that other people should indulge you. If you want to live your life that way, that's fine. You have free will. But high vibe people who aren't codependent aren't going to stay in a relationship with people like that. And some people who could be in that dynamic right now trying to decide, some of those people are tempted to let that relationship go because they're deciding not to align with their more hopeful, believing nature and making their life about love. And they could be thinking, I'm going to align with my more prideful, materialistic nature, and other people who want to make their life about that. So tell us about the Judication card and the message. And some of the people who already did that, they thought they could let go of that relationship and aligning with their more loving relationship, let go of listening to their intuition and following their heart and being bold and brave, and they thought everything would be fine. Maybe they had come into money and it's like, I'm willing to let go of people in my life. I just want to be single and indulge myself and be emotionally shallow and be selfish and greedy. And they thought they'd be fine. But you know, sometimes people didn't realize how much it would change their life when they, when we align in our more shadow nature. That can be us thinking, oh, isn't it going to be great? I'm going to go indulge in all these things and I'm not going to worry about anything and I don't care and this will all make me feel better. Yeah, that'll get a stranglehold on us. And that can really wreak havoc in our life with the Tower card. For other people, they could have thought, I'll just go get in a relationship with someone else who has money. And that was a very unstable foundation. Tell us about the judication and the message card. What wants to come out about that? Four of Pentacles. Yep. The person they could have decided to go get in a relationship with, just like us aligning with our pride and our ego, like listening to the devil on our shoulder, they promised the world, it'll be so great, it'll be so abundant. But the devil is kind of selfish and greedy. And other people who present to say they're going to promise the world, just let go of the loving people in your life. Come be in a relationship with me. Oh, by the way, did I tell you I operate from shadow? I'm kind of selfish and greedy and competitive and manipulative. And then when you come get in a relationship with me and you let that other relationship go and you're not being loving and kind to the loving and kind people in your life, and you decide, because I said you could have everything in the world if you were kind of selfish and greedy and self-centered, oh, I'm going to hold back from you now. I've decided. I'm just glad you let those people go. I'm glad you didn't align with love. I'm glad you came over here and, oh, by the way, I'm kind of selfish and greedy and I don't really like to work together with people cooperatively and I don't like to share and it's all about me. So that didn't go well with the ill health. Tell us about the ill health card. Five of Swords. Because of, oh, I forgot to get a because of on that card. Because of the moon. It's an illusion. For people to think, I don't have to be just and fair and loving. I don't have to grow and mature myself. I don't have to deal with my self-limiting beliefs. I don't have to deal with the fact that I don't love myself or whatever. Whatever somebody's issue is, we've all had them. To think that you can cheat the system and keep ignoring it and everything will go just dandy. No, life is all about learning lessons. Guess what kind of people are going to come into our life? People who are going to teach us a lesson. Other people who haven't dealt with their fears and insecurities and their pride and ego and selfishness and whatever. And they're going to come in our life. And because we aligned with our more unstable foundation instead of our more loving, hopeful foundation, it's going to wreak some havoc in our life too. And we're going to get in relationships with other people who have fear and insecurity of moving forward, of being bold and brave and confident. And it's not going to end well. It's an unhealthy relationship because people aren't operating from a foundation of love. And it causes us a lot of emotional confusion. How many times do we want to keep repeating patterns of being emotionally confused? At what point do we say, I want this to end, and I need to stand up for myself, and I need to love myself, and I need to start putting in work and effort to learn some lessons. And the biggest lesson in life to learn is to love ourselves and treat ourselves, that if there's going to be one person in the world who every day treats us with kindness and encouragement and compassion and forgiveness, it should be ourselves, because we're the only person in the world we control and that we should try to control. And we're like the manager of our life and we're our only client. And then our worldly nature, our emotional, intuitive nature, and our inner child nature can all work together in hope and faith and belief to try to bring our dreams into reality. That tries to bring, the things of the world. We all have the things of the world that we want to bring into reality. Are we going to be so dismissive of our inner child hopes and dreams and our emotional intuitive wants and needs to be all about our worldly nature and our ego and fulfilling ourselves in ego and disregard all our dreams and ignore our emotional spiritual aspects of self. We're emotionally complex human beings. To think that we can just ignore ourselves emotionally and live an emotionally shallow life, we might be kidding ourselves. It could lead to a lot of illness and mental conflict, And, we do these things when we act out in our shadow nature because we've had mental conflict about seeing through our own illusions. And part of the illusion can be, well, I thought those people would love me. But if the divine knows that you really haven't learned to love yourself, you're not ready to move forward in your life. And you'll probably have some shadowy people come into your life who might want to steal from you your love, your time, your attention, your money, whatever, your time, your energy. Because you have to learn to see through the illusions and start listening to your intuition. That's another important lesson to learn, is to listen to your intuition. For some of the people who had some lessons to learn, and they didn't choose to love themselves and align with loving people in their life, I think they were very focused on money and materialism. If they knew someone had maybe experienced an ending in their life and wasn't doing very well, maybe emotionally or whatever, because they were sad, this person could have decided, in the Five of Swords can be people who want to win at all costs and they don't care who gets hurt, that they would decide to be selfish and greedy and think only about themselves, and maybe get in a relationship with someone who had come into sudden wealth because of an ending, or maybe a family member died. And because they have inner conflict about listening to their intuition and making their life about love, and they also have mental conflict because they kind of really want to look really successful in the world. And if they were to get in a relationship with this person who wasn't feeling well because of some type of loss in their life, they could have decided to get in a relationship with that person. But for other people, that already happened, and it was a very unstable relationship because, trying to build a foundation with someone when you're not planting seeds of love, the other people could have listened to their intuition, and they could have held back from this person because they sensed that maybe the reason they ended one relationship with people who seemed to be loving and just and fair and balanced was because they're selfish and greedy and self-centered. And then they might have gotten concerned that this person was only coming and getting into a relationship with them because of materialistic reasons, and the other person listened to their intuition and they ended the relationship. So now, life's all about learning lessons. When we haven't learned to love ourselves and we go get in relationships with other people, and we might get in relationship with people who are selfish and greedy, who don't open up, who don't work well together with us. And if our intuition is telling us this is unhealthy and this needs to end, then we stand up for ourselves and we defend that we want relationships to be about love. And that's when we've learned a valuable lesson in our life. And the part of transforming so we don't repeat that pattern is to learn the lessons we were meant to learn from that, not to be in shadow energy, which can be pain and heartbreak and someone rejected me and now I'm sad or now I want to get revenge or whatever. It's about saying, I have seen the truth. Some people are more selfish and greedy. Some people are more self-centered. Some people are more about indulging. And I deserve to be in relationships based on love. I'm going to invest in detaching from that and not wanting to repeat that lesson anymore. And in order, as you move forward on the path of loving and believing in yourself, that's when you deal with your own fears and insecurities and start being more balanced within yourself. And you're no longer aligned with your more lack of self-belief and your more egoic nature, and you've aligned with your more loving nature. And people who are like this really are kind of, you're energetically repelling them away from you. They know that if they want to be in a relationship with you, people know that you've had some life experience in your life. You're not going to fall for illusion anymore. You're not going to be tempted by someone who wants to maybe tempt you with wealth so that you will decide, I don't know what my future will hold. I don't know if I should believe in myself. I'm going to put an end to believing in my dreams because I have mental conflict about listening to my intuition, and I'm going to stay in relationships with people and cling on to them because of my fear and insecurity. You've already lived enough life to know that that doesn't end well, and you've learned to respect your intuition. And people who haven't learned those lessons and haven't learned to trust their intuition are the people who are going around trying to manipulate other people, and the other people who might not be feeling well out of wanting to be comforted maybe, and to look like things are going well for them in the Aquarius star energy, and maybe because they have some fear and insecurities, might put an end to having hope and faith and belief in themselves, and they might get in a relationship with someone who comes into their life to teach them some lessons. Tell us about the high vibe people. And you could have been in relationships, if I didn't mention that already. You could be in relationships, and this is just other people in your life. You know, it could be a parent, it could be siblings, it could be children, it could be friends that you know are kind of defensive to loving and believing in themselves. And so they could be kind of indulging themselves in the world, thinking that's the way, that's abundant. I'm going to do that. And you're concerned for them because you know that there are consequences to their actions because you've maybe lived more life than them. And you keep trying to encourage them to have hope and faith and belief in themselves because you know that when things in life are meant to be enjoyed, but not to the extent that we aren't treating ourselves with love and respect and we're rejecting loving people in our life, you know? And some people, you know, we all have to learn lessons the hard way, and they might just have to learn some lessons the hard way to get over their mental conflict about aligning with their more loving nature and intuitive nature. Tell us about what's going on for the high vibe people. I think, well, for one, you know, you're going to be investing in other people. You've learned your lessons. You know, there is a layer of lesson of life that you have learned, and you are going to invest in people who are emotionally just and fair and loyal and committed and balanced and loving, because you have learned that to continue to invest in people in your life who might have been in non-life-giving energy, not loving, there's nothing to come from that. Nothing good can grow from people who aren't building their own foundation on love. You're giving it everything you've got to be bold and brave and strong. And there might be the Ten of Wands can be communication, a Sagittarius and a Leo. You know, there might be someone coming towards you because they know that you are bold and brave and strong and they want to communicate with you. And they might have a lot to say in the Ten of Wands. What about the people in shadowy energy right now who are maybe thinking of turning their back on believing in themselves and loving themselves and rejecting loving people in their life? Those people think they know better in their pride and ego, and pride comes before the fall, right? They are going to keep moving forward with their own plan. And their plan is to be happy, indulging themselves, maybe being bossy and controlling, maybe to try to find other people who they can be bossy and controlling with. Oh my goodness. We have four masculine energies there. It's all about people being in their worldly nature and indulging in the world and in their ego. And the King of Cups. I'm going to present myself as loving to the world, like I harness high vibe Cancer energy, like I'm a loving home and family person. I'm going to go present myself like that. I'm going to go make an offer to someone who I think I can indulge in, maybe sexually, or someone who I think maybe operates more from their emotions, that I can indulge myself in a relationship with. I'm going to go present myself as loving in the world. And it's all about offering my things of the world that I have to entice people to indulge in a dream with me, but I'm going to be bossy and controlling in the relationship because I'm not connected in with myself emotionally, and I'm kind of emotionally shallow, and I can be intimidating and controlling in relationships. But if I can get you in the relationship and make you think that we're going to move forward to manifest a dream into reality, well, then I will try to keep you in the relationship using like maybe sexuality and attachment, and hoping that you won't be bold and brave and strong enough to step into unknown territory, because as human beings, we're all kind of tempted to stay in our comfort zone. And I'll present myself as like a loving family person to the world. So, that's kind of a benefit, that at least they present themselves as a loving family person in the world, and they might be offering me things of the world, and they might take sexual action towards me. By worldly standards, it might look like I got it made. But if you have someone in your life who's just presenting a facade of being someone who's loving and creative and inspired and stable and grounded, and they're actually someone who's very unstable, that could be a mess. But that's what people who are in shadowy energy are going to do right now. They're operating from an emotionally shallow place, maybe all about money and materialism, and hoping that if they can entice someone into a relationship, maybe with money and materialism, then once they get them in the relationship and get them kind of emotionally attached to them using their sexuality, that they'll just be able to indulge in the relationship and control this person, whoever that is in the world. So there you go, Capricorn energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.